I also wanted more out of a relationship than just a few moments of fun and physical attraction. So I made a decision. I was not going to have sex until I was truly in a committed relationship.
Hello everyone! Welcome to another episode of Ask the Girl from Schenectady. And I am your host, Oduayo Magic Odumi, aka Ayo Magic, the girl from Schenectady. So that clip you just saw was another clip from my one-woman show where the main character finally realizes that she is not having sex until she finds her Mr. Right and she's in love. So today's topic, 90-day rule or celibate? Well, I have a lot to say about both topics, but first, let's hear what the male and female panel have to say about this one.
But if your goal is to have a godly relationship and to pursue marriage, whether it leads to marriage or not, if you're in the pursuit of marriage and you're trying to be celibate together, then that's where those conversations that Shannon was talking about comes in. That's where the accountability comes in. That's where you put, it's like bowling. If your goal is to have a strike at the end of the lane, but you know that you need help getting there, you put the bumpers up, right? And it guides the ball all the way. But if you don't really care and you're just there to hang out, you can throw that ball and it'll land in somebody else's lane and not even hit a pin and go straight to gutter. So you really have to self-evaluate before you even come to the table with this conversation and just figure out where you're at with it.
Yeah.
And that drive of why you're in that relationship is going to be, okay, can we do foreplay? Well, I'm lonely and I'm bored, so yeah, sure, why not? Or no, I am pursuing a godly relationship right here, and so is the other person. So we're gonna work really hard together to get to that end goal. We're gonna work really hard to not be together after 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. or when the sun goes down or whatever time that is for you. We're going to work really hard not to be pressed up against each other because that's a trigger for him too, because you have to look at what his triggers are too and also what yours are, because my personal preference in my relationships and my goal in my relationships is for us to grow stronger together. And we can't grow stronger together if we keep tearing down each other's barriers.
I think a lot of us have touched on, we would prefer a woman, or a man here is married to a woman, you know, who is strong and sound in their own beliefs, right? So if, I know for me, I try to live by an essential code of ethics, you know, so for a woman to have something in place like that, to me, that shows a lot of maturity. It shows a lot of self-respect. And I don't see why that should be a deal breaker.
As a, thinking, living, breathing human being, you need to discover and figure out what your own standards are for yourself, what your own triggers are sexually, that this is a very normal expression and act of love. It is something that's necessary, right? It's about, of course, procreation, we can bring it down to that level, but desire, expressing your desire for someone in the flesh, which is, like Vaughn said, all that we are outside of spirit and flesh, right? So it is a very powerful, insatiable desire, and it's not a bad thing. So I think there's a lot of unlearning that we have to do in terms of sex isn't bad. There's just a container for it. You know what I mean? There's instructions around it, and you don't have to do it that way. But if you're not going to, right, then you need to be mature enough and developed enough to deal with the consequences that come along with it, which is what Vaughn is saying in terms of the emotional baggage, the mental baggage, the physical baggage, the whatever else comes along with that. Dealing with having, a kid long term, like you have, that person is your person. They're not like your person to be in love with, but y'all are going to be in partnership with each other long term because you guys now have a child together. So for anybody, you have to have your own set of standards and rules around these things and figure out what your viewpoint is.
I think that having a 90-day rule, I'm all for it. If that's what you want to do, I think it does build a stronger foundation when two people can come together and wait. Just because once you start having sex, in my experience, sometimes it can skew the way you feel about a person, or if you're not really feeling that person as much as you want to be feeling that person, you still might stick around a little bit because oh, you know what, the sex is a little good, so I'm gonna still stick around. She's good for this. But if there's no sex on the table, then at some point, if you guys are not really feeling each other that well, then you're probably gonna end it. Whereas if you started having sex early on, that sex can make it go on for longer than it actually really would have. So I'm all for, women who do that. I think that's actually a good thing to do. As far as the celibate thing, I don't think that I can be with anybody who doesn't want to have sex until they're married. Just because I feel like if you do it for me, right? And you're like, and I'm like, oh my God, like she just do it for me. Like it's just something about her. I kind of want to know that I do it for you too. You know what I mean? So if sex is off the table for the foreseeable future, then it's just like, how do I really know that I really do it for you like that? It's like, if it's 3 months, then I can say, you know what, I can wait 3 months because I know that she kind of wants me too, but she just have this thing and I can respect that thing. But if it's just like no sex for the foreseeable future until I don't know when, I start to just feel like, do I really do it for her like that? Because if it's two people and you do it for me and I do it for you, it's gonna be kind of hard for us not to do it to each other. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know about the celibate thing, but if that's your what you want to do, more power to you.
Wow. Well, that's a lot to think about. Whew, okay. Well, here's my opinion. First of all, 90-day rule, come on. I mean, 90 days is nothing. It goes by like this. In my opinion, I think you might as well just have sex the first month if you're going to do a 90-day rule. There's just no point. And secondly, if the guy is not willing to wait 90 days, then he's not looking for anything serious. He's just looking for sex. That's just how I feel. Now, if you're going to do a rule, maybe do like a 6-month rule. 6 months I think is a long time to be dating someone without sex and for the guy to stick around. Because if you're able to date, get to know each other on a friendship level, hang out, talk, build emotional connection for 6 full months and the guy still sticks around, now that's something long-term, possibly a long-term situation. But less than 6 months, I don't know. That's just how I feel. Okay. Now, celibacy. So being celibate is something most us Christian men and women practice. It's us making a covenant to God that we believe that because we are compatible with our partner emotionally, financially, mentally, spiritually, then we will be compatible sexually after marriage. So it's you really just having a connection and a relationship with God and believing and trusting God to pick your partner for you, as opposed to believing, oh, we got to have sex before marriage because I don't know if we're sexually compatible. Because if everything else is working out, your soul is connecting, you're spiritually connecting, you guys are friends, you guys have a deep connection, in other areas before sex, then you got to believe also by God's grace, that this is your soulmate and you are going to be sexually compatible. So that's what I believe in. That's what I practice. And I would go in that route. It is time for the question of the day. So a lot of really interesting questions have been popping up in my DMs. And I thought it would be great to start addressing them under this segment. So today's question of the day is, are you really a 40-year-old virgin? The answer is yes. I am a 40-year-old virgin. Actually, when I did my one woman show, I was 41, and now I am a 42-year-old virgin. Now, I will be honest, I have not always been open. I haven't always been confident in talking about it. But when I did my one woman show, I realized that there were a lot of women out there like me who felt embarrassed or ashamed about it, or, they didn't feel confident about it. And I kind of wanted to talk about it and just kind of let, women know and feel and believe that they are sexy, they're sensual, that they're not lacking or missing anything by being virgins and saving themselves. It's actually a very beautiful and pure and amazing thing and covenant to make to God about your future husband. So I am excited about being a 42-year-old virgin, and I'm excited about, having sex for the first time with my husband when it does happen. So so that's it. That's my answer. So that concludes today's episode of Ask the Girl from Schenectady. Now, by the way, that was a great question. Keep them coming. You can comment below if you want, ask me questions below, or continue to send me questions in my DMs. You can follow me on Instagram. It is IOMagic. That's spelled AYOMAJEK. Now, also, I do need to disclose, by the way, I am not a dating coach. I am not a licensed therapist. All of my opinions are based on my experiences. Now, tune in next week where our topic will be interracial dating. So I will see you next week. And as usual, don't forget to like and subscribe. Talk to you soon. Smooches.